Hello grade 6, welcome. Welcome to the STEM Lockdown Digital School and welcome to your grade 6 English First Additional Language lesson. Today is a revision lesson. My name is Fiona Beale and I am your grade 6 First Additional Language teacher. Hello. I'm so glad you could join us. I wonder if you've been here all along. Hopefully you've been here this week because we're going to revise today some of the things that we've done in the form of a test, but I'll explain that just now. So here are our lesson objectives. First of all, just so that you know, we're working on term 2 of week 3 and 4 of CAPS. So today we're doing listening and speaking, reading, language and writing in our revision lesson. This is what we'll be actually doing. You'll listen to 2 descriptions and answer questions. You'll review paragraph construction and answer questions. You'll also write a description of an animal. You'll review various grammar concepts that we did this week in the language lesson. And you'll create visual text. Finally, you'll label visual text. Got that? Okay, we're going to do this in the form of a revision test that you'll mark yourself. I'll tell you how to mark it, but you'll mark it yourself. So we're going to test something that you've learned about each day this week, and then you're going to mark that. Ready to go. Good. We'll start off by listening to 2 descriptions and filling in details. So, just like we did in our listening and speaking lesson earlier this week, you'll listen to 2 descriptions of endangered animals, and then you're going to provide 3 things about those. The animal's family category, such as mammal, amphibian, bird, or whatever, one reason for it being endangered, and try and guess its name. Got that? So you've got 3 things to do. So to get started, draw this flow chart in your book, Animal 1 and Animal 2. Leave enough space to write down 3 keywords about this animal and maybe even a sentence. Okay, got that? Shall we get going? So we're taking our story that we read earlier in the week. We're going to use the same 4 children. Do you remember originally they were trying to guess the names of animals around the world in a story called The Magic Glasses. Then this week they were trying to guess the 7 endangered South African animals. Now today we are using animals that aren't necessarily in South Africa, but they are animals that were mentioned in our video that we watched on Monday, the video on endangered animals. Alright, so in this picture, Caleb is describing what he sees in the magic glasses, and the other children have to try and guess the name of the animal. This is what Caleb says. This animal is a mammal with a very large, bulky body, a thick neck, very long, strong arms, short bowed legs, and no tail. It's mostly covered with long, reddish-brown fur or hair and grey-black skin. If you had to stroke it, you would feel thick, coarse fur that also looks like hair. This animal spends most of its time in trees and it loves eating fruit. It often gives a big wide grin. It's sometimes called the great ape of Indonesia and Malaysia. It's critically endangered because of poaching, habitat destruction, and the illegal animal trade. The other 3 children said, "Oh no, we just can't guess. We can't guess what it is." Can you guess what it is? From our video on Monday. Okay, let's go on now to the next animal, the second animal, and this time Mandy is trying to explain what it is, and Caleb has to try and answer. So Mandy says, these animals are ground-dwelling herbivores. mammals, herbivore mammals, that inhabit the forests of central sub-Saharan Africa. There are two species of this animal, the eastern type and the western type. They are the largest living primates. A primate refers to the name given to the group of animals such as the lemurs, the monkeys, and the apes. This animal loves fruit, and it spreads seeds around wherever it goes. Its diet consists of vines, leaves, stems, shoots, and roots. These animals are very social. Habitat loss has had a devastating effect on these herbivores. Finally, poaching has also dwindled their numbers. No, said Caleb, I can't think of its name. Can you think of its name? It was mentioned on Monday in our Endangered Animals video. Let's go on. I'm going to now tell you the answers. See if you got them right. The first animal was an orangutan. You can see how it's orangey red, and its fur almost looks like hair, coarse hair. No wonder it's called orangutan. It sounds like orange. It's got an orangey tinge to it, hey? The second animal is a gorilla, black and very critically endangered, the same as the orangutan. Did you guess that one? So let's mark your work. The first animal was a mammal, and it's endangered because of poaching or the animal trade, and it is called the orangutan. The second animal is a mammal, but if you wrote primate, that's also okay. It's endangered because of habitat loss or poaching, and it's the gorilla. How did you do? There are 6 marks for this, 3 for each of those animals. Count your marks and make sure you keep it where you can see it, because we're going to add them all up at the end. Got it? Good. Let's go on to number 2. Now, number 2, we reviewed paragraph construction. And then, so what we'll do now is we'll review paragraph construction, and then you'll be asked some questions about the paragraph. Okay, so do you remember this about paragraphs? Well, before I tell you, let's read the paragraph together out loud so we practice our reading. In South Africa, we have 2 species of rhino, the white rhino and the black rhino. These mammals are actually both gray in color. A rhino, whether black or white, has a huge stocky body, a large head, a short neck, and a broad chest. It has 2 horns on its snout. The black rhino has a curved upper lip, and the white rhino has a square upper lip. Rhinos are endangered. Okay, so there's our paragraph. Now, in this paragraph, you'll notice around 5 sentences. Sometimes there's more, sometimes maybe less. And you'll notice that I've written the first sentence in blue, I've left the middle part black, and I've written the bottom in red. So this paragraph has a topic sentence which summarizes the whole paragraph. And in this case, it's the first sentence. Remember, the topic sentence doesn't always have to be the first sentence. It can be the second sentence or the third sentence. But in this case, it's the first sentence. In South Africa, we have 2 species of rhinos, the white rhino and the black rhino. And all the other sentences relate to that sentence. It has 3 or 4 supporting sentences, and it has a concluding sentence. Rhinos are endangered. It also has a main idea. A paragraph has got a main idea, and sometimes that main idea is the same as the topic sentence. There are 2 species of rhino in South Africa, the white rhino and the black rhino. You got all that? Good. So now let's test you. I'd like you to answer questions about this paragraph. So let's read the paragraph together again and practice our reading. Describe an orangutan. An orangutan is sometimes called the great ape of Indonesia and Malaysia. It is a mammal with a large bulky body, a thick neck, very long strong arms, short bowed legs, and no tail. It is mostly covered with long reddish-brown hair and grey-black skin. If you had to stroke it, you would feel thick, coarse fur. It spends most of its time in trees and loves eating fruit. This animal is critically endangered because of poaching. Okay, so we've read our sentences, right? Now, which number of these sentences shows the topic sentence? Which number shows the concluding sentence? Which number shows the main idea? So you'll notice it's asking about numbers. I'm going to number these sentences. That red writing is sentence 1. The green writing is sentence 2. The black writing is sentence 3. And the blue writing is sentence 4. I hope I said green further up. Red, green, black, and blue. Now I want you to note which number shows the topic sentence, which number shows the concluding sentence, and which number shows the main idea. Ready to do that? Good. Okay, you done? So let's mark your work. So we read the paragraph together. Which number shows the topic sentence? Was it that first sentence? No, it was the second sentence, the green sentence. This paragraph asks you to describe an orangutan, so the topic sentence is going to be the sentence that does the describing, which is actually the first green sentence. The first green sentence. Okay. Which number shows the concluding sentence? The bottom blue sentence, right. Number 4. Which number shows the main idea? Again, it's going to be sentence 2. I should actually have made that sentence, I should have made 5 sentences really, but anyway, or 6 sentences. How did you do? Did you get the topic sentence was the first green sentence, the concluding sentence was the blue sentence, and the main idea was the first green sentence? Did you get those? Good. So give yourself 3 marks if you got all 3 of those correct. Good, good, good. Let's go on to number 3. Do you remember how to write a description? In our first lesson this week, our listening and speaking lesson, you gave an oral description. In our writing lesson, you wrote a description. So you should remember how to do it. Let's review. So remember, when you write a description, you need to give a clear picture of whatever you're describing so that the person listening or reading will be able to form a mental picture in their minds. You need to give plenty of detail, and you need to use as many of your senses as possible. What you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you smell, and what you touch. Right, so sometimes with animals you won't be able to use taste. You'll use that more for food. And you might not even be able to use hear, because you might not hear it saying anything. But you'll definitely be able to use some of those. So see what you can use. And here's the actual task. Write a description of an endangered animal. Choose from the 2 today, the orangutan or the gorilla. So in your description, mention its name, Mention which animal family it belongs to. Now you're going to be writing proper sentences now, no, not keywords. Mention a reason why it's endangered. Then describe it. Mention at least 3 body parts. Also use adjectives to make it come alive. And use as many of the 5 senses as you can. Okay, you got that? Okay, get on with that. Okay, need a bit more time? You got its name, you got its animal family, you've said why it's endangered, you're describing it, 3 body parts, adjectives, and you're using the 5 sentences. Right. Let's mark your work. You'll see that this is worth 10 marks, and this is how the 10 marks are allocated. So we asked you, what is its name? What animal family does it belong to? Why is it endangered? Describe it. Mention 3 body parts and use adjectives. Use the 5 senses. Right, so if you wrote its name, that's 1 mark. Did you say what animal family it belongs to, either primate or mammal? Did you mention a reason why it's endangered? Did you use at least 1 adjective? That's 1 mark. So far that's 4 marks. Then if you mentioned 3 different body parts, give yourself a 3 marks. And how many did you mention at least 3 of the senses, what you could either see, hear, touch or feel, taste or smell? Did you mention 3 of those? 3 marks. If you only mentioned 2, if you only spoke about 2 of the things, those things, 2 marks. So the total is 10. Can you give yourself a mark out of 10? And keep it somewhere so that we can add it all up at the end. Good. Let's go on to number 4, language. Okay, so we're going to review some of the language that you did this week. First of all, we're going to look at alphabetical order. Do you remember we said that words are arranged in a dictionary according to their first letter? For example, apple, banana, carrot. Apple, A is before B is before C. When more than one word starts with the same 2 letters, you have to list the words according to the third letter. For example, if all the words start with CL, then we've got to go to the next letter, and in this case, A, then E, then I. When more than one word starts with the same 3 letters, you have to list the words according to the 4th letter. For example, act, all 3 start with act, so now you've got to go to the next letter, I, action, actor, actress. Got the idea? You remember this? Good. So let's do our activity now. First of all, put these words into alphabetical order. Animal, angry, anteater, apple, ape. You got them? Which word comes first? Which word comes second? Which word comes third? Which word comes fourth? Got it? Okay, because now we're going to mark it. Here's the answer. Did you get it like this? The first word was angry. Angry and animal started with the same, and anteater all started with A-N. So we had to go by the next letter. The G came first, then the I, then the T. And then we've got ape and then apple. Did you get those correct? Good. Then you had to do another group, at least do this group now. Gorilla, goose, go, got, goat, good. Put those 6 words into alphabetical order. You're nearly done. Okay, let's look at the answers. Did you get the answers like this? All the letters started with G-O. So the first letter is going to be just G-O. Our first word will be G-O. The rest will have to go according to their third letters. So we've got goat, good, goose, gorilla, got. Did you get all 5 of those? All 6 of those? Good. So now for this one, you need to give yourself 2 marks. If you got all of number 1 right, 1 mark. If you got all of number 2 right, another mark. If there was just 1 mistake, we can't give you the mark, okay? So give yourself a mark out of 2 and keep a record of it. Let's go on and talk about adjectives, the comparison of adjectives. Remember we did that? We said you can compare adjectives like happy. He's happier, she's the happiest. When we compare adjectives, we talk about the 3 degrees of comparison. Young, younger, youngest. Old, older, oldest. Do you see that and that est? This week, all our comparisons will have that or that est on it. For number 1, the positive degree refers to one thing, like young. That animal is young. That girl is young. The second degree is called the comparative degree, where it compares 2 things. She is younger than he is. That lady is younger than that lady. Her sister is younger than her. The third one is called the superlative degree, and that compares more than 2 things and describes the best or most. For example, he is the youngest in the family. She is the oldest in the family. Right, got it. Okay, let's complete this activity. It's worth 20 marks. So, let's read the positive, and then I want you to fill in the comparative and the superlative. So the positive says old, big, tall, lazy, happy, low, unhealthy, simple, high, slow. Can you fill in the comparative and the superlative for those? Right. Give you a bit more time. All right. Ready to mark your work? Good. So, as I said, this is worth 20 marks. Let's read together and we'll go across. Old. So you're going to give yourself a tick for each one in the middle, all the comparatives and all the superlatives. Okay. Old, older, oldest. Big, bigger, biggest. Tall, taller, tallest. Lazy, lazier, laziest. Happy, happier, happiest. Low, lower, lowest. Unhealthy, unhealthier, unhealthiest. Simple, simpler, simplest. High, higher, highest. Slow, slower, slowest. If you made a spelling mistake, we'll still give it to you as long as you got that and that est right. Good. So did you get 20 marks? It's out of 20. Write down what you got. Keep it somewhere where you can refer to it to add up just now. Right, let's get going for the next one. This is about using a or an in English. You remember we did that on Wednesday. So, do you know when to use a or an in front of a noun? Well, you need to know that the 5 vowel sounds are A, E, I, O, and U. Okay? And you also need to know the other 21 consonants in the alphabet in order to do this activity. So the general rule is you use a, but we pronounce it a, before a word starting with a consonant. One of those 21 consonants. They all use a in front of them, a. The 5 vowels use an. For example, an apple, an elephant, an oven. Got that? Good. So here's your activity. Write a or an in front of the following words. Let's read the words together. Teacher, artist, engineer, nurse, doctor, accountant, president, inspector, cleaner, miner. Okay. So, in the second column under answers, just write a or an. Right, are you ready to mark them? Good. Here are the answers. Just tick all the ones that you got correct in the second column. A teacher, an artist, an engineer, a nurse, a doctor, an accountant, a president, an inspector, a cleaner, and a miner. Count them up out of 10 and give yourself a mark. You got that done? Good. And let's just review adverbs of time. Let's go over it. An adverb adds to a verb, and it adds to the meaning of the verb. So, for example, instead of just saying he walks, we could say he walks slowly. Walks is the verb, slowly is the adverb. Tells us more about that verb. And you get different kinds of adverbs. That one above, he walks slowly, is an adverb of manner. It tells you how he walked. But we're going to deal with adverbs of time. Adverbs of time are words like today, yesterday, and daily. Words like that answer the question when. When did it happen? So an adverb of time describes when, or for how long, or how often a certain action takes place. Okay, ready to do an activity? Good. Pick out the adverbs of time in these sentences. Number 1, the female rhino had a baby yesterday. Number 2, recent statistics show a drop in poaching. Number 3, usually the rhinos drink at the waterhole over there. Number 4, the warden at the zoo goes to bed late after feeding the rhinos. And number 5, I hope we can visit the Kruger Park next year. Did you get all the adverbs of time? Just check your work. Okay, let's mark them together. So the first sentence, the female rhino had a baby yesterday. Yesterday answers the question when. Recent statistics show a drop in poaching. Recent shows the answer to the question when. Number 3, usually the rhinos drink at the water hole over there. When? Usually. Number 4, the warden at the zoo goes to bed when? Late. And number 5, I hope we can visit the Kruger Park when? Next year. Did you get all of those? Good. Give yourself 5 marks out of 5. Did you get 5 correct? Great job. All right, now we're going to draw today's endangered animal. We did a drawing activity yesterday, I think it was, in our writing lesson. Now we're going to draw a different one. I want you to draw it with me in stages. Do you recognize the animal? Right, draw that part of the animal, the head and the nose. Sorry. Okay, you got that? Good. Now let's go on and draw the animal's back and a part of its stomach there. Got that part? Good. What do you think we're going to draw next? Would you think legs? Let's see. The first leg. All right. Do you think we're going to do the second leg now? Yes, the second leg. Right. And the toes and feet. Or paws, we should say. Right, you got all 4 of those down? Now your fifth one. The third leg, one of the back legs. And then the fourth leg. Okay, let's go on and draw that long tail that obviously gives balance. Sometimes animals have these long tails to help them stay balanced if they run very fast. And our final picture, what do you think our final picture needs? Spots. Give it some spots. Now this activity is worth 8 marks. So if you got all those down, give yourself 8 marks. Did you get your animal drawn? Did you end up with something with spots? Good job. Good job. And did you guess the animal? An Amur leopard. And we heard about that in our Monday video, and the sad part is that there's only about 50 left, or 40 in the whole world, apart from those in zoos. So this one is critically endangered. Right, now that same drawing that you've just done, I want you to label it. This is part of information text, labeling. So I want you to label your Amur leopard drawing, possibly using about 5 or 6. I think this activity is going to be out of 6. So try and give it 6 different things. Label 6 parts of the Amur leopard. All right, did you get those? Okay, here's some possible answers. I've just added adjectives in front of them, but you don't have to. There's ears, eyes, spots, fur, legs, paws, tail, body. Did you get at least 6 of those? So give yourself a mark out of 6. Okay. How did you do? So now it's the time for us to add up the marks in our test. So you listened to descriptions, that was 6 marks. You found out things about paragraphs. You wrote a description. You put words into alphabetical order, 2 marks. You compared adjectives, that was a biggie, 20 marks. You did a or an, that was 10 marks. You identified adverbs, that was 5 marks. You drew an Amur leopard, that was 8 marks. And you labeled your Amur leopard. And it came to 70 marks out of 70. How did you do? Count your marks up. Let's see how you did. Did you get anything from 50 to 70? Well done. Then I would say that you've been listening very well this week as we did our various activities. Well done. Okay, we're coming now to the end of our message, so let's just review what we did today. So remember, we were working from the Term 2, Week 3 and 4 CAPS curriculum for listening and speaking, reading, language and writing. You listened to 2 descriptions and you answered questions. You reviewed paragraph construction and you answered questions. You wrote a description of an animal. You reviewed various grammar concepts from the week's language activities. You created visual text when you drew that leopard, and you labeled the visual text. Right, good. I haven't given you any activities to do at home, but I would like to invite you to Tuesday's lesson, because Monday is a public holiday. So I'd like to invite you to our next grade 6 first additional language lesson, and it's a listening and speaking lesson. So will I see you there on Tuesday? Great. That brings our lesson today to an end. Thank you so much for joining us. It was really nice to have you here. I hope you did well on your test. I'm sure you did. And if you are on social media, follow us on Lockdown School. Bye.